Got a business that needs a website? I created one for my boxing studio with Wix. I'll show you how. First step.
Come on. Chilly in the morning.
Nearly 90% of Walden faculty hold doctoral degrees, which means you're getting a top-tier...
All right, y'all. We're gonna get started. You might have seen this one, a Barashango, talking about the European holidays. It's one that I had in my playlist, and I came across. I was like, man, I want to listen to this. He was such a good speaker, and he knew who he was. And it's just a shame about the way he died. Shalom, August Dreams. You know, when he died, he was actually homeless. And it's a shame, you know, that this brother was living out on the streets in his last days. But we're going to go ahead and listen. Let me see if I can share my screen here.
Peace be unto you, my beloved brothers and sisters. Sounds like throwdown time to me. But you say, Brother Eli, that's that throwdown talk I'll deal with tonight. First of all, I want to give honor and respect to our Creator, revealed to all and known by many names, which is the source of our power and victory in any encounter, in any battle, in any struggle. I want to give thanks to our ancestors, our positive ancestors, who are legion. For if it were not for them, we would not be here to continue this fight that has been going on for so long with the devils of this planet, the demons of this planet. And in honor of them, especially those who put their life on the line, those who actually gave their lives for this cause throughout the years, I would say in the words of the last poets, blessed are those who struggle. Oppression is worse than the grave. It is better to live and die for a noble cause than to live and die a slave. So it is in their honor that I submit this tonight. I want to thank the brothers and sisters from Reality Speaks. I like that. Reality Speaks, because we seem to have a difficult time dealing with reality today in the world. Back often, I want to run away from reality. Seems like we want to laugh and play our way through this thing. And as Dr. Clark has once said, that great grand scholar of scholars, we either have to put race first and take our survival and liberation seriously, or we will cease to exist as a race. We will go out of business as a race. Okay. So we can't laugh and play this thing all the time. Now, I like to laugh and play just like anybody else. I like to have some fun. But you can't play all the time. There is the business, the very serious business of life. And so I like that reality speaks. And we have to stand still and listen to reality and not be overwhelmed by reality. To know that there is a power in the universe that created us first to represent it on this planet, and therefore that power, when we reconnect with it, can enable us to deal with any reality that we find ourselves confronted with. So if we no longer fear reality, but face reality, we will be victorious in reality. And not only be survivors, but once again obtain power. So I want to thank Brother Jabari, who has called me 1,000 times on this. Brother Universal, the referee tonight. Sister Tekoa, and is it Sister Malika? And I want to thank all of you, all the brothers and sisters who participated in this, helped them bring this about. You know, you may not realize what it takes to put on a program like this. You may not realize what kind of sacrifices people have to make. So they have to be really dedicated young men and women like this, who could be out jamming and partying tonight, decided to give their time and their resources so that this information can come to you. And I think they're worthy of your applause tonight. I know they are worthy of your support in every way. Tonight, before we get into our topic, I need to mention to you, usually I have to do what I call a black nationalist commercial, because we're not brought to you by any of the rich niggas on the planet. They don't invest in these guys. We're certainly not brought to you by any of the rich white folks, and don't want to be, because we don't want to be owned by anyone. We're brought to you by the auspices of the work and dedication and commitment we have as warrior scholars to this, through the works we produce in writing and through our lectures and in other things. And it is only through your participation in that process, in short, bringing it right down front. It's only when you buy what we produce that we're able to continue to produce it. So I know so many of you here have brought my tapes and books. I know that today, whatever weight I have in poundage is responsible for the beans you have put in the pot. And I thank you very much, and my family thanks you. And I ask you to continue to do that. And so I brought with me, I don't have any books, but I do have tapes tonight. And I hope that you will visit the table. And I do have my special signing pen, my blessed signing pen, that is ready to sign your tapes for you. So I invite you to do that. Much of what I want to cover tonight on this topic of the holidays, several of the holidays I will not be able to go into in detail, but I do go into them on the tape. So I'll be looking to meet with you there at the end of this lecture at the table. Thank you for your patience in this matter and for your support. Now let's get on with, let me get my eyes out here now, and let's get on with our discussion for tonight, which is holidays from the perspective of an African-centered reality. Now, I don't know just exactly how I'm going to approach this subject tonight, because you know I'm part teacher, part preacher, part brother from the street. So I don't know how it's going to come out, but we're going to let the spirit and the ancestors move. But is that all right with you?
Yes, right. We're going to bring the mic.
And I want to share with you as much information as I can in the period of time we have together. Now, we're talking about holidays from the perspective of an African-centered reality. This subject I have discussed so often, I have gotten tired of talking about it. But obviously, there's still a need to discuss it. Just like people are still overwhelmed by the idea that Jesus was a black man. I thought we had settled this 30 years ago. But it's still a fantastic thing today. In fact, the book I'm working on now is The Real Jesus Was a Black Man. And I thought we had settled it. I thought everybody knew that. But then I've also had some other information I'm putting in there I will discuss as we go on. But we're talking about this, and it's difficult because, as Brother Jabari said, folks think you're trying to take their pleasure away from them. You're taking the fun away from them. Y'all are you're just killjoys. You want to take everything. What we gonna have if we don't give these white folks this money? On Thanksgiving and extra, what we gonna do if we don't buy these clothes on Easter? Jesus gonna be there with us. It's the wonderful, good feeling you get from it. Brother Jabari used the example, you can get a good feeling from crack. Ask a crackhead. That's why they do it. Make them feel good. But what does it do to their life? You can get a good feeling from a prostitute where you take all your money you got and give it to her for one night. That's it. You ain't got nothing else. And that's what you do on these holidays when you give white folks money you ain't even got. Money you haven't even received yet for a good feeling. You're doing the same thing as a junkie or somebody out on the street tricking with a prostitute. It's the same. I know you don't like to hear that, but you see these gray hairs, I don't care. I'm not trying to get along with you anymore. I love you. I want you to love me. I want you to be my friend. I want to be your friend. I'd like to be popular with every black person in the world, but I have found in these 58 years that just ain't possible. So I don't care, but I love. And I have to speak what is called that tough love tonight. So you may get angry with me. I might not sell no tapes, but if you got gas money for we're going to talk about holidays from an African-centered perspective. I look at everything from an African-centered perspective, and I'm getting tired of this dumbass question, why everything got to be black? For when you look in the mirror, Negro, what else can it be for you? For white folks, it's very clear. Everything got to be white. Even for black folks, red folks, yellow folks, and everybody else. We're the only fools in the world that asks us a question. Why everything got to be black? Well, look at yourself in the mirror and you find out why. And if that don't convince you, if you don't convince yourself that you look like Tom Selleck or somebody, because we can't do that, you know. Be looking so black and pretty, but think we're looking like something Clark Gable. And if that don't convince you, that's the world of reality that you step into when you step out your door. Even with your big time job and everything, with the glass ceiling and all, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah. Those realities bring it right down front. Why it's got to be black. Has to be black. So I don't just stop at black, African-centered. Everything I look at from an African-centered perspective, which done messed up everything for me. I can't enjoy a movie. My wife wouldn't like to go to movies with me anymore. We can't watch television anymore. Thank God for the midnight hour. At least we still got that. But you can't enjoy nothing when you have that consciousness because you see exactly what's going on. Everybody else sitting around there. Now, we're the only people I know where you can get to laugh at their own insults. You be insulting the hell out of them, they be laughing at you. Well, it's all in fun. It ain't nothing but a joke. No, life is not a joke. Survival is not a joke. But let me stop now because I know I'm being too serious for you. Historical reality is what we're talking about. That's what we're going to discuss in these holidays. I am not talking about belief. I don't care about belief. I don't care what you believe. Your belief means nothing to me. Your belief holds no weight with me. I may respect it and your right to believe it, but it is nothing that we can debate. It is a personal, sentimental feeling. It cannot be debated. There is no true religion because you cannot debate it scientifically and logically. It is a matter of what one chooses to believe. So that's one of the things you need to get up off of and stop fighting each other over there. Teach. There is the creator who is not confused, but we are confused in all these man-made. I said, what? Man-made religions. Every one of them made by man. Every one of them. But you tell me it came from God out of heaven, this prophet, this Lord, this, that. Do you know how much blood was shed to make it as an established religion? I know you don't like to hear this, but we are dealing. I'm asking you not to deal emotionally, but to use your brain tonight. Don't run from your brain. It's the best thing you got. You got 10 to 20 billion brain cells, the greatest gift you have ever been given of any other creature on this earth. Don't run from it. And you will not offend God by using it. And yes, question God. He knows everything. And he ain't on no ego trip. You say God can't be questioned because you don't want to be questioned. Your ego can't stand up under question. But the creator of the universe was man. Ask all the questions you think you need to ask. Okay, y'all all right? Yes, sir. Let me get back to the subject now. I'm going to get bold. I'm not just going to take all 5. If time permits, I'm going to take all 6 European holidays. As we call it in the African, some Yagomi. We're going to do. We're going to talk about Columbus Day, an orgy of death and destruction. Halloween, the original night of the living day. Misgiving Day, a celebration of harvest. Xmas, the merry mess. Easter, the festival of fools. And America's Independence Day, the 4th of July. See if time will permit us to discuss it tonight. There's 5 basic points I want to deal with, and I want you to remember before we get into the actual discussion of the holidays themselves. Now, y'all might let me know about the time, like my mentor and teacher, Dr. Ben, I don't have time to watch. So you'll have to let me know. First of all, to celebrate holidays is very common for human beings. It's good to celebrate. As a matter of fact, as I study our history, which is my favorite thing to do, I find that in our great high culture science societies that achieved and accomplished more than any societies have ever achieved or are achieving on planet Earth today, in harmony with the Creator and humanity, that we spent 1/3 of the year working and 2/3 of the year celebrating. That's why we like to party so much now, but it's out of context. You don't own nothing, you don't control nothing. So you had party as much as you used to. But we want to party all the time, but we love to celebrate. So if you try to take that from African people, you kill them. Because we celebrate. And it's good to celebrate. But there's one thing I noticed about this. It's one thing that concerns me about this. At no time in the history of the world do I remember any people celebrating their own destruction, but my people. I don't know anybody else who does this, that celebrates their own destruction. People don't celebrate the wars they lost, they celebrate the wars they won. Number 2, the celebration of holidays establishes and helps to maintain a strong emotional, emotional and cultural bond between you and that which you are celebrating. And I mean, we're emotionally involved in it. It makes you feel so good. And it becomes something that you can't live without anymore, because you're emotionally attached to it, like your soulmate. That bond becomes strong and you can't live without that force anymore. And that's how it is with holidays. So what you're celebrating has to be something that is good and to your best good, or you're being bonded to something that is working against you. 3rd point, one of the main dangers of European holidays is how they help reinforce the emotional attachment that many of us have to Euro-American culture that we have to white folks. Black folks love white folks. We'll forgive white folks in a minute for things we will kill each other about in this country. We look for reasons to forgive white folks. And they made us that way on the plantation. They hooked that up because they projected themselves to us as God. And somewhere there's got to be some good in them. And we'll put more energy into trying to find that good for which we have no historical basis whatsoever. And won't last a minute when it comes to working with black folks. To get them on their feet and get them out of there and saying, I just can't deal with it no more. Niggas just get on my nerves. But you'll take a beating, you'll go to jail, you will bleed, you'll do anything to try to get the white man to act like what he cannot act like. He can't do it. Look at the history of Europe. He couldn't do it with himself. How's he going to do it with the people he fears more than any other people on the planet Earth? Think about that. So it binds you to Euro-Americans and their institutions, which does not work in our best interest. Now, maybe you can tell me something different, and I'll be willing to listen. But is anything that white people have created that works for us, is good for us? Can you name me anything?
Yes, sir.
Even this so-called educational system is designed to make us Oreo white folks. So, I mean, what is it that they have that so, I want you to tell me. I've been in this world 58 years. And I want to know, what is it that they have that we just got to have? And I mean, pay the price that we pay for having it. Let them continue to run the world. The ugliest, stupidest, most backward people on the planet run the planet because the people to whom the planet was given has let them take the power and run it. And go along every day as though this is normal, this is natural. And go to church and call out, oh, God can't hear you because you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. The Creator gave you a planet, you blew it. You fumbled the ball. Now you're not doing what you were put here to do, which is run the planet in righteousness according to the principles of my act and the principles that were given to you from the foundation of the world. And you think by hollering and shouting you get God's attention? You'll get the Creator's attention when you stand up like a man and like a woman. Confront this issue. Take on your enemy and know that it's when the Creator is with you, no weapon that is formed against you can prosper. You claim to have all this belief, but you really worshiping the white man, not God. That's who you worship. You do anything the white man tell you to do. Anything. You'll be on your job knowing something you ain't supposed to do that is immoral and wrong, but you'll do it because he told you to do it because he holds your stomach in his hands. That's right. I ain't mean to go there, but I got to go with the spirit, y'all. 4, European holidays were created for Europeans, not for African people. It was created for white folks. They did not create these holidays for you. They later on found out we can make a lot of money off these stupid niggas if we let them celebrate. It's that simple. It was created for their needs, not our needs. So in celebrating them, you are not serving your own needs. You should know that by now, because by the middle of January, you're behind this crowd and figure out where you're going to break, scrape, steal, and borrow to get this money from to pay for some stuff that you don't even know why you bought. And I don't understand this thing. Why I got to give you a gift because you gave me a gift? If you were sincere about giving me the gift, I ain't got to give you nothing. And why I gotta give you a gift after, and what's this thing they call it? I'm trying to get into this, man, but it's taking me a while. Y'all help me now. Y'all pray with me. I don't care what name you pray in, just pray with me. What's this thing called Black Friday? Right after Misgiving Day. They got you so psyched up. Yeah. You can't even go. My wife went to go to the mall to get something, stockings or something. She couldn't get in nowhere. Black folks got this. They got to give these white folks this money. The next day. Great. But the ticket's still hanging down, still in testing. But they're there, fighting each other and stuff. It's like, I remember as a child, man, it was like a throwdown time with people. And some of them bust each other in the head to get money so they could go in there and give it to this white man so that they can please Jesus. This is so confusing. This is so sick. This is insane. So, but everybody's doing it, then we're living in a massive, humongous sanitarium. In a nut house. One big nut house. And if you were put in a sanitarium, in the library, if you were put in a house where people were insane, would you and knew you didn't belong there, would you say, well, everybody else in here is doing this, there's somebody hanging out the ceiling, there's somebody crossing his head against the wall? If somebody standing on his head on the chair, so well, everybody else doing something crazy, let me do something crazy too. Yeah. That's what you say when you say you got to do these holidays. Everybody else doing it. And then the really the one, and I ain't letting you off the hook on that. We do it for the children. Yeah. We're gonna get there. If I miss it, you help me get back. All right. 5, most of these European holidays were predicated on their fears. Halloween is the fear of the devil and their dead ancestors. I'm going to talk about that as a Columbus Day, they were fearing the end of the world, so they were going around the world trying to conquer everything and everybody and get everything they could before the end of the world came. That was a state of the mind that these folk took with them. That's why they were so cruel and mean to everybody. Misgiving Day, they were afraid of starving themselves to death. And the red man made a big mistake. We'll talk about that in a minute. Stop calling them people Indians. That's an insult. They are not. It's the indigenous red man, our red brother here. And Xmas was for fear of the devil and the imps getting them on Christmas Eve night. I hope we get a chance to talk about that. It's on the tape. And Easter was the fear of sin and its punishment by eternal damnation. And the 4th of July was the fear of the loss of control of their black slaves in the slave trade. Now let's move on. Y'all ready? Y'all with me? Now I might have to do a little reading here just to keep myself in line and not get off track. Do what you got. Let's deal with the first one now, which is Columbus Day, an orgy of death and destruction. First of all, let me tell you that this man, this Jew from Genoa, Cristobal Colon, was a criminal. Let's get that established. A criminal. That's what he was. He carried the original crime gene to this country with him. He is one of the most despicable characters that have ever lived on the face of this earth, and he opened the way for the transatlantic slave trade. What the hell am I going to celebrate him for? Why am I going to teach my children to celebrate him? He should not be viewed as a hero by our children. And you walk up in the school, any of these schools that be teaching your children this, that you have to pay your taxes for the support of that school. I think you have to do that in Maryland like you do in Pennsylvania and everywhere else. Even if you don't have children in school, you still got to pay taxes to the school. Then you working for me because you taking my money for I see my money. So this is what you teach my children, and this is what you don't teach my children, especially in a predominantly African community. I don't want no Christopher Columbus being taught to my children as a hero. But it's in the textbook, then you need to get another one. I offer you Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. I offer you a host of other scholars whose work is far more credible. But you are not going to teach this to my child, and my child is not going to celebrate any Columbus Day. Then you go up to school on the first day when the school opens. That stuff settled. Y'all scared of the school, ain't you? No. You're not. You must remember, they work for you. Now say this to yourself. They work for me. They work for me. I'm the boss. So I tell them what I want my children to know in that. That's what you are as the parent. Oh, they'll try to resist you. The school, boy, the school. We have to put your butt in there. So we the boss. You take our money to pay for this, we the boss. My child does not salute the American flag. Huh? And they were making children who didn't salute the American flag stand outside the classroom. I say, you do that one more time, I'm going to be a wealthy man if I'm taking your butt to court and I'm suing the hell out you. Because you are working against their amendment, whatever amendment right that is, they have the right to make the choice here. And do you make Jews in this class salute a swastika? So how you gonna make me salute a flag that represents a country that enslaved and murdered my people? And it was legal to do it for hundreds of years here. For almost 200 years it was legal to do it. Even after they banished it was still legal in the South and other places to heap this horror on us, and they can still find ways to do it. So I'm gonna salute something that represents my destruction. Y'all still with me? Y'all ain't ready to throw me out of here yet? Let me see if I can show my behind some more. In spite of this fact, there are textbooks in this country, in spite of the fact that Christopher Colon is a criminal, portray this criminal as an honorable man, and they emulate his holiday annually on October the 12th, or the nearest Monday now. They've started doing that, which shows that actually money is more important than anything else. Mm-hmm. Actually, Europeans didn't feel that strongly about Christopher Colon. They didn't really start celebrating it as a holiday until 300 years after the fact, in October of 1792, when it happened. But 500 years ago, this invasion on the Western Paradise, as we call it, because it was not called America and should not be called America. That was an invasion. It wasn't a discovery. It was a criminal invasion on a people, because ever since they landed, the people had been subject to destruction. And you know what happened to us after they got rid of them. You still here?
Yes, sir.
In 1492, we mentioned, Christopher Colon opened the transatlantic slave trade. He had been in the slave trading business since he was 14 years old. The first voyage he made along the west coast of Mother Akebu land, this now in Africa, was to get slaves to take back to Spain and Portugal to sell them, to get captives, because we were not slaves, we were captives. So he started his career at the tender age of 14 doing this. So this was a regular way of life for him, this man that you celebrate on Columbus Day. And he took 10 Taino, or noble, indigenous people here, and forcibly took them back with him on his return voyage to Spain. This was the first quote-unquote slaves he took from this country. Then Admiral Christopher Colon instituted a reign of terror. As governor of the island of Hispaniola, became the first South American dictator. It was Christopher Colon. I want you to remember him that way. In 1493, in response to the fact that most of the 1,500 indigenous people he had hunted down and rounded up and sent to Spain to be sold as chattel slavery in the marketplace, they died on the way, thus making his voyage unprofitable. And so he wrote to the King and Queen of Spain. He said, let us, this is in the diary of Christopher Colon, he said, let us in the name of the Holy Trinity go on sending all of the slaves. This is in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. It's written, he wrote it. Let us go on sending all the slaves that can be sold. Then he added, they are so timid and nice. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all, reduce them to servitude, and make them do whatever we want them to do. In my book, African People and European Holidays and Mental Genocide, book page 32, I'll quote in here. He says, I've traveled many places in the world. I've seen many people in many conditions. He says, but these people here are so tractable, so peaceful are these people that I swear to your majesties, there is not in the world a better nation. They love their neighbors as themselves. So what did they need with his idea of God? They were already living that. So what did they need with it? They love their neighbors as themselves, and their discourse is ever sweet and gentle and accompanied with a smile. And though it is true that they're naked, and Europeans, for anybody that didn't cover their head from head to toe was naked, because they have problems with their body, and when you look at it, you can understand why. And Dr. Wilson goes very heavy into that as to why in the ISIS papers. The one thing that they envy you of is your color. And then turn around and made you think you ugly while they still out there risking skin cancer trying to look like you. This is insanity, believe me. It's there. And you try to make yourself bleach it off, fry it out, whatever. Let me get the look as white as I can. Let me leave that alone so sisters don't ram me out. Some brothers too. Jerry curls and things, but I love you anyhow. We got to talk straight though. Ain't fooling around no more. Ain't fooling around. If you don't want to do this, go ahead. Keep your head up that white man's behind. Perish with him, but I want these babies to survive and to be victorious. I know a lot of y'all, there ain't no sense in talking to them. That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to come out of this victorious. Dead or alive, I want to be victorious. I can't take it no more. It doesn't, this cannot go on any longer. You see it about to fall apart all around you. And you keep following up behind this sucker. Blind leading the blind. They love their neighbors as themselves, and their discourse is ever sweet and gentle and accompanied with a smile. And though it is true they are naked, yet their manners are decorous and praiseworthy. And then he goes on to recommend that these friendly and hospitable people be made to work and sew and do all that is necessary to adopt our ways. White folks ain't happy unless they're making folks do what they want them to do. That's not a man. Stop calling him the man. Stop calling him the man. You the man. You the man, brother man. You the woman, sister lady. Stop calling him the man and her Miss Ann. They're children. An unruly child wants to make everybody do its will. An adult doesn't act that way. So you're dealing with a child and calling it a man. No wonder you can't come out of the childhood stage. No wonder you're still laughing and singing and gay popping and playing it all the time. In that same year, Columbus also escalated the payment of heavy taxes and imposed upon every man, woman, and child over 14 years of age. He issued an ultimatum compelling them to bring him 1 ounce of gold dust every 3 months or to have their hands chopped off. Upon witnessing this horrific punishment, a lot of the people said, hey, I can't get no ounce of gold every 3 months. And I've seen my neighbors who couldn't get their hands chopped off. I'm skying up. I'm splitting. I'm getting on up out of here. So they went up in the mountains. And what did they do? Columbus took troops with Irish wolfhounds. And one of the things that sold in the marketplace of the settlement of Isabella on the island of Hispaniola for a high price was the flesh of the indigenous red man. And it was sold as food for the dogs, so that the dogs would get an appetite for human flesh. And they took those dogs up in those hills and they hunted those people down. Those who were not fortunate enough to get away, they would split their stomach open with Toledo steel blades, chop them up, and feed them to the dogs. These people ain't had nothing to celebrate about his coming. Nothing at all. And neither do you and I. First of all, I don't want to be identified with that, because the one thing that life will teach you, if you don't learn anything else, that the law of karma is an immutable law. What does our people say? What goes around comes around. White man gonna get his. I don't want to be identified with that. I want the Lord to be able to clearly distinguish. I ain't have nothing to do with it. I ain't in that. What me, Lord? I was a victim. My ancestors were victims. Also, during that same year, Columbus went to surrounding villages demanding that the chiefs turn over the young women and the young boys to become sex slaves for his crew. I want you to think about that. I want you to understand. I may not get to it all tonight, but what I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you. You're talking about the people who had been on a ship, and these ships were floating cesspools. There was feces and urine all over the ship. There was maggots and flies all over the ship. They hadn't washed it took 60 days to make the trip. They had lice all on them. They had all kind of diseases, and here they were jumping in somebody's room. That had to be hard. Mm-hmm. People of color around the world were known for their bathing, especially African people. They were the cleanest people on this earth. That must have been a horrible thing to have this nasty, slimy, nothing creature up on top of you. And that's the one thing they wanted to do. Jump on somebody's woman. I don't understand no black woman ever going with a white man or black men ever going with a white woman. No color. Shut up. You don't know nothing about love. Because you first got to love yourself so you can love anybody else. And if you love yourself, you are not going to go with the descendant of your enemy. You're not going to do that. Plus, you break down your own energy power within you. Being black is not just skin deep. Shut up, you dumb Negroes. Color is only skin deep. You don't know nothing about science. You don't know the science of melanin. Why we are this color and they are not. And that all they can do is take energy from your cosmic battery and not give it. So you wonder why when you get hooked up with them, you get cancer and all kind of other stuff. I'm talking science here, but I'll leave that alone a minute. By 1494, because of the enforced, what kind of? Sexual activity. They don't want with these white folks. They stink. In your movies, they have you thinking that all these women of color around the world want to be with the romantic white man. No, they didn't. They forced themselves on people. Nobody want to be bothered with that. If you don't think so, get on the bus with a bunch out when it's raining. You know what I'm talking about? Am I just being mean? Now, I don't know about you, but it's got to be smell good for me to, you know. If the smell turns you on, you need to visit one of our African centers and let them work with your head for a little bit. Maybe you need your olfactory glands operated on or something. Because of this enforced sexual activity by the Europeans, syphilis spread like wildfire. They said, well, when we got here, the Indians already had syphilis, but what bothered them even if they had? It didn't bother them, even if it was here, but there's no proof of that. But once your nasty behind got here, it became a problem. And I keep people saying it was nasty. They still nasty if you ain't cleaning their house. And those of you who have to go up in their house to clean them know how nasty they are. Ask your grandmother who had to go out there and clean their house and wash their clothes and all that stuff. Just to keep food on the table. She'll tell you how nasty they are. I ain't got time to play with this. Well, you know, there's some good white folks. So what? It doesn't change my condition. If you that good, I got the answer for you to prove it. Manifest it. Don't tell me about it. Show me that you love me. Do what Jerusalem Slim said do. Y'all know who Jerusalem Slim is. I know who that is. Jerusalem Slim said, go sell all that you have. Did he say it? That's what the preacher said. That's in the New Testament gospel. Go sell everything you got. Didn't leave nothing, everything, and give it to the poor. And then you can get into the kingdom. Yes, I ain't gonna do that. Pardon my French. I say this to white folks. You love me? Good, show me. Sell everything you got. And give me what belonged to me, because you wouldn't have drawers on your behind if it wasn't what was taken from my ancestors. Get my reparation. Get my money. Be a man. Pay your bill. You always telling me I ain't no man because I don't pay my phone bill or something. Pay your bill and I can pay mine. Biggest bill that's ever been created. Give me my 40 acres in a mill, which is about $300,000. You ain't never got to worry about Ishakamusa no more. I'm gonna turn that money over. I know, but I might let him slide for that, but I take that $300,000. I'm working. Because I know some brilliant brothers. All they need is some money, and they can work it. I take it to a good African nation. There's a few that ain't controlled by those Europeans, and I'll work that money. I'll be a billionaire in a couple of years, and I'll come back with an army that, well, man, I'm telling you. The infliction of Columbus' arrival on these people was so devastating that they began to jump off the mountain to commit suicide. These women were saying, before I let that stinking nasty thing get in me, I'll die. They were jumping off the sides of mountains like they did at Palmares in Brazil. After having 60-some years of freedom and an independent nation, the Portuguese, because white man can't stand for black folks to be free. He can't stand it. So why do you think he's going to give you freedom? He can't deal with you being free. And he kept going after those people, and when he did finally conquer those people, they said, oh, he did finally defeat them in battle. They said, you are not going to put us back in slavery. We've been free for 60 years. Kiss my behind. Jumped off the side of the mountain. That's how strong freedom was to them. So that's what the red man did. A lot of them committed suicide. It was an estimated 125,000 of them who did this, were either killed or committed suicide during Columbus' 2-year governorship on the island of Hispaniola in 2 years. I'm trying to tell you what kind of people you were dealing with here. And I've asked the question over and over again, and I'll continue to ask it. Will you please tell me what did white people bring to anybody in this world that they needed? They brought Jesus. We have Jesus. All the ancient images that the Pope bows down to with Jesus is in Africa. And his mom, where Jesus? They had to bring us Jesus. And that was too high a place for Jesus. Or anything else. And I asked the other question. I will continue to ask the question. And I welcome somebody to stand up and set me right if I'm wrong. Can you tell me anywhere on this earth that white people have ever gone that they haven't brought destruction to the indigenous people who live there? So this ain't got nothing to do with racism. This ain't got nothing to do with hatred. This has to do with historical reality. Now, how the hell am I going to trust somebody who has conducted themselves that way? But there were some good ones. They couldn't stop the bad ones. So what good were they? What good are they? Oh, I'll work with them to help them fight their own. Go ahead, yeah. Help me fight for my brother-in-law Mumia's life. Yeah, and I ain't gonna be so thankful to you because you do what you're supposed to do. You're trying to get yourself right with God because your people messed up. And what's the Bible say? You know it. Unto the 3rd and 4th generation, you're responsible for that sin. Doesn't it say that? Yes, sir. So they still responsible. And they won't stand up and tell you, well, I didn't do it. My ancestors do it. How much money you got in your pocket, sucker? You own a house? Give me the deed to it. Give me your car. Because right now you're telling them bare-faced lies. I want you to be able to tell the truth. I want to make a good person out of you. Give me everything you got, and then you can say you didn't do it. The cruel policies initiated by Christopher Colon and carried forward by a succession of explorer bandits. They were exploiters, not explorers. They were bandits. They were criminals. Every one of them, Cortez, Pizarro, all of them committed crimes and genocide against people when they came here. The Aztec people in Mexico had books and volumes upon volumes of knowledge, very similar to the knowledge from the Nile Valley in Africa. The white man say this ain't God knowledge and burnt the books up. He went to Atahualpa, the great emperor, and was reading from the book the holy book of the Catholic Church, the prayers, and the man said, this don't mean nothing to me. What you saying? He got mad with him. Unless you accept this book and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, you're a demon, you're going to hell. And they ordered the man to be executed. Now, if you got God, you ain't got to kill me. To introduce me to God. Islam too. Except Islam or die. Why you got to kill me? To introduce me to God. Anybody that comes to us with that, they ain't talking about no God, they talking about themselves. They're talking about their own ego. Y'all still there? Within 25 years, the conquistadors and all the others had committed such a total genocide against the indigenous inhabitants in the Caribbean islands, red and the black people that were there when Christopher Colon arrived, that they had become extinct in the islands within 25 years. 25. This is what you celebrate when you celebrate Columbus Day. When they first arrived, there was over 125 million people here. Now there are a few million, maybe. One time it was down to what, about 600,000 or 700,000. So you know they didn't have nothing to celebrate about it. And I ask you, what do we have to celebrate? Now let's see if we can deal with here for a while. I don't know how much time I got left, y'all, but like I tell you, I got to move with the spirit. Trying to stay with my notes and be disciplined. Halloween, the original night of the living dead. You want to talk about that or you want to move on? You sure now? You're just being nice. Okay. Halloween means all holy evening, or as you say, Holy Sun evening. And the sun was very important to them up there in Europe that didn't get much at the time. It was the eve of All Saints' Day, November the 1st, and it was October the 31st, was the Druidic New Year. There was a group called the Druids who was supposed to be practicing the knowledge that came out of the Nile Valley in ancient Kemet, which they would now misnown in Egypt, but anything that the white man gets his hands on, he has a way of demonizing it or turning it around. We never see things the same way. And you wonder why you can go in a meeting with white folks, sit down, use the same language, and come out with a different idea of what occurred. Because you don't see things the same way. You don't feel things the same way. But you come out with tears in your eyes. Well, yes, they did commit some crimes against us, and they did shoot the young man in the back of the head. But we talked with the governor about it. We talked with the mayor about it. And we believe that something will be done because they said that they believed in peace and justice too, and we said we believed in peace and justice. And that's all they had. And we stand out there crying about it. Because we believe in that stuff. It's our nature. Peace and justice don't mean the same thing to him. Peace means as long as you do it my way. Justice means just us. That's what it means. I have to keep checking on you that you're all right because I have been put out of places. On this, the Druidic New Year, you got my back, Brother Eli. You got your back, brother. They said that at this time, the earth would open up and the dead and demons would come out of the earth. This is how their New Year went. You got to understand the psyche of these people. I study European history very carefully. I know who I'm talking about. I ain't trying to get along with these people. I know what I'm dealing with. I know their history. And I know even when they try to do right, they can't. So I ain't getting caught up in that trap on the outside chance that the ones that are trying to do right may do right. I can't take that risk. There's too much at stake. I'll work with you if I can. Treat you like a human being as long as you treat me. I don't want to eat with you. I don't want to party with you. And I damn sure don't want your woman. Okay? And you better not be looking cross-eyed at night. In ancient Britain and Ireland, this Celtic New Year was called Samhain, Samdain. At the end of summer, they would have these huge bonfires on the hilltops to frighten away evil spirits. These people lived in fear. One of the things you have to understand about Caucasian thinking, about Eurocentric thinking, is that its primary motivation, let's get into a little behavioral science here now. Its primary motivation is fear. Read your Bible. What does it say? Fear God. Why would I fear my Creator? The cat that wrote that mistranslated the book, put it in the context of his own worldview, which was fear. A God-fearing man